This week, a hot new product has entered the villa. One Size just dropped a new setting spray, but this time with SPF for $40. Polite Society is getting dragged for what looks to be a rare beauty highlighter dupe, except it costs more. And Benefit is attempting to make a comeback with their foundation, but the internet is a little torn on this one. In this video, I'm going to share with you the hottest and worst new beauty launches of the week. So before you add to cart, let's talk it out and get another beauty critiques. Alright, let's start off with sunscreen because we are in the summer. And like I said in the last video, there is going to be a lot of sunscreen launches this year, starting with the new One Size SPF sunscreen setting spray. This has SPF 28, which is a very strange number, but it's supposed to have the same long wear qualities as their OG setting spray, but instead it has an ultra fine aerosol mist that provides up to 80 minutes of sweat-proof or sweat-resistant broad spectrum protection with no white cast or a sticky feel. So I actually recently purchased this. Spoiler, I have yet to try it. I sprayed it on in the store and the mist does feel a lot more even than their OG setting spray. It also doesn't seem to be very glowy or matte or sticky, so I have high hopes for this one. The only downside is that the full size retails for $39. And then add tax on top of that, it's gonna be almost $40, which is kind of wild. Let me check how much their OG setting spray is because I don't remember paying that much. Yeah, their OG full size is $34. So for $5 more, you can get the one with SPF. So it's a little pricey, I get it, because it probably costs them more money to formulate a product with SPF, but you can also try out the mini size for $21 instead, which is what I did. And I also really like the idea of this because you can throw it in your bag. I'm glad that even though they launched it for a higher price, they managed to launch the mini size at the same time. The next sunscreen launch is from Glow Recipe. They are launching a liquid version of their stick SPF. So this is supposed to be a hydrating fluid with SPF 30. It claims to blend seamlessly with no white cast, greasiness, or pilling. Now this looks very familiar to me if you have been following Glow Recipe for a while. I feel like they have launched this before. Actually, I'm pretty confident because I remember purchasing their liquid sunscreen and absolutely hating it. It was sticky, it was greasy, it was the exact opposite of what this says right here. So I'm assuming they recalled that, or at least took those out of the stores, went back to square one and reformulated it to be better, because the first one, let me tell you, it was not good. Now let's move on to eyes, which I'm really surprised we are getting at least a couple of eye makeup launches because that hasn't really been the trend lately. So starting with the Makeup by Mario cream eyeshadows, they've basically taken all of the shades of their cool toned matte powder eyeshadow palette and turned it into this cream eyeshadow. To me, it's like a cream liquid because if it can be put in like a doe foot applicator, I would assume it's like kind of a mixture between the two. The formula is supposed to be medium, full coverage, weightless, and provide a matte finish for $25 each. And people interestingly thought that the product was something else. Someone said, "Why did I think that this was concealer? LOL." And this comment had 167 likes on Trend Mood's Instagram. I can see how people mistaken this as a concealer, but based off of the gray tone, I did not make that assumption, so that's kind of funny. But I do like the color story, and this is reminding me a lot of the Giorgio Armani liquid eyeshadows, but cheaper. Now, if you think that the Makeup by Mario cream shadows are boring, well, Danessa Myricks is launching something fun, like always. This is her new Color Fix sticks, which are a multi-use poral cream eyeshadow for $38 in multiple different shades. It looks here that one side is supposed to be a multi-chrome, or no, what am I saying? One side is supposed to be a foiled finish, while the other is supposed to have a metallic finish. The cool thing about these also is that they are magnetic, so you can take the duo apart and switch it up between any color combination you would prefer. And the actual individual sticks can also magnetize with each other so that they can stay together, which is pretty cool. I love Danessa Myricks' thought process and concept when she creates packaging for products, because even if it's not, you know, my aesthetic or the coolest vibe, I like the practicality. I'm obsessed with her Lightworks palette, the magnetic one. I travel with it all the time, so I love the idea of this. Okay, so my opinions on some of the products so far is that they're okay. I'm not super ecstatic about them. I think that the Glow Recipe sunscreen is just something that I don't need at this point. I feel like most people already have their favorite sunscreens, so I can't imagine this being any better than what I already own, especially because even though Glow Recipe is K-beauty, they are a little bit more pricey than like Beauty of Joseon or Skin 1004, so I'm gonna stick to those brands. I also don't think that this sunscreen is mineral, so there's nothing really selling me here. As for the Makeup by Mario cream eyeshadows, I'm interested to know if they're anything like the Giorgio Armani ones. If they are, but cheaper in a wider variety of nudes, I might be interested in making a purchase because I am a cream eyeshadow person, specifically a matte cream eyeshadow person. I love to use them as a base. I love to use it as a one and done. I find them so easy and fun to work with and very, very practical for the everyday. So it's not a must buy, but I'm curious enough to check it out in person. As for the Danessa Myricks, I do love the concept of this. I love the color options. I love the idea of the packaging, but I'm not a cream stick metallic shadow person. Like, I prefer more matte than I do metallics and shimmer cream shadows, but I do think that these are very intriguing, and I love that Danessa is always coming out with something a little bit different than what's being released. She's not always launching the newest, trendiest product. She's just moving to the beat of her own drum, and that's what I love about Danessa as a makeup artist and the brand. I'm not gonna rule it out completely unless I see a duo or color story I like. It's unfortunate that you can't buy like one side at a time, because I feel like that would be better in my opinion than being forced to buy the duo itself, because what if you only like one shade over the other? So that's my main critique there. But if you're into shimmery, sparkly cream shadows and you use them as one and dones often, I've seen videos on this and it looks pretty promising. The next new launch is from Summer Fridays. It is their Blush Butter Balms. Here we go again, branding their most popular product. Can't blame them. I really can't blame them. This formula is supposed to blend easily into the skin for a sheer flush and dewy finish, and this will be available in 6 dewy shades that kind of all look like warm tones in my opinion. And I wasn't the only one who thought this, because the comments on this product are actually ruthless. I think on Instagram, especially Trend Mood, the people on their profile are very big critics, but if you go on TikTok, I do think the audience on TikTok are more susceptible to new launches, and I think a lot of the audience is also younger, so that kind of explains the mixed opinions, because I can see TikTok eating this new launch up, because Summer Fridays lip butter balm is a whole thing, but at least on Instagram they were not happy. Someone said, "Enough blush!" exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Another comment said, "Boring shade range." But there were a few people that were kind of excited about the product. Someone said, "I will buy anything from that brand. Every single thing is amazing that they put out. I will buy one of each. LOL." Another blush release? Yes, please. I know a lot of people will say not another blush release, but it's what a lot of people are loving right now. Yeah. You know what? I kind of agree with that, because as much as I'm tired of all of these blush launches, I do have so many. I have so many, and it's what I'm buying. No matter how many I have, for some reason I just can't have enough blush. So I think that if you're a blush addict, you get it. But if you are like more of a makeup minimalist, or you're into like eyeshadow or lip products more, you can only have so many shades of cool tone pink and coral in your collection, and I get that. In case for some reason you want another version of the Rare Beauty highlighters, Polite Society has decided to launch their own, but a more expensive version. This is a combination of a liquid with the silkiness of a powder for a glass skin wet effect, soft texture, in recycled packaging for $34. Yikes. While the Rare Beauty highlighters are $27, and this is actually described as a positive light silky touch highlighter. So yeah, the packaging looks the same, the dome looks the same, and the concept looks exactly the same. And people are definitely mad about this one. Someone said this isn't even a Rare Beauty dupe, it's just a ripoff. These are more expensive than the Rare Beauty ones. I don't know how this even got approved. LOL. While I've had some success with Polite Society products, their prices irritate me. I love their setting powder, but they literally only give you half of the amount other brands like Huda, House Labs, Laura Mercier, etc. give you, but charge about the same price. $34. Why are these brands making this small, basically mini-size highlighters and charging them almost $40 though? Rare at least charges $28, and to me that's a fair price for a mini, but like, this is ridiculous. And I will tell you this, these are probably made at the same lab in Italy that Rare is made, and these shades probably run more yellow, orange, I can tell by the swatches in these. I just can't understand why these brands think this is acceptable. You are basically paying for an eyeshadow at $40. That is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm all here for the comment section. I'm 100% in agreement because it literally is a ripoff. You can't look at this and not think that this is an exact ripoff. Maybe the shades are slightly different, maybe the formula is slightly better, but the differences are so slim, and when it comes to highlighter, it's something that I just do not justify because you only use such a small amount of highlighter, and if I really want something that is ultra glittery, ultra shiny, I can use an eyeshadow that is smaller and easier to carry. So to me, there's really no justification or unique selling point in this product unless it's made from diamond particles or something like that, but there's nothing here that's screaming worth the price. Sorry. Now, while Polite Society is coming for Rare Beauty, LYS is coming for Hourglass with their new launch of their True Enlightenment Soft Focus Skin Finisher Powder. This is marketed as a fine milled marbleized blurring powder that smooths, balances, and illuminates skin and delivers an airbrush finish in one step with light reflective pearls for $22. Sound familiar? But unlike Polite Society, this product is cheaper, and it looks like the shade range is more inclusive for deeper skin tones than Hourglass will ever be. Not only that, instead of copying and pasting the packaging, they stood on brand with their triangle packaging. It's still marbleized. The concept sounds very similar to Hourglass, but to me, there was more of a selling point here. Now, do you remember the Dior blush sticks that I talked about in the last video? This is exactly why I think sometimes it's worth just waiting to buy out a product after the hype dies down, because if you buy something that has just relaunched right away, you are missing out on all of your other options. And by options, I mean Charlotte Tilbury has released their own version of these Dior blush sticks, except it's a little bit different and, in my opinion, more appealing for me. This product claims to glide on and melt into the skin for an effortless glow and soft wash of buildable color in 6 shades. Now, if you prefer something more matte like I do, I have swatched the Dior and the Charlotte Tilbury in store. I think the Charlotte Tilbury leans a little bit more matte, but it's not matte, just to be clear. It has more of a luminosity while also setting a little bit better on the skin than the Dior. And I do think the Charlotte Tilbury one is slightly, if not a lot more pigmented than the Dior. Now, if those products are just too dewy for you, Dior has us oily girls covered because they're launching their Dior Forever Blush Soft Filter, which is a whipped liquid blush with a blurring matte finish. This shade range reminds me a lot of the Summer Fridays. It's again the warm tone shades, but the formula looks a little bit more up my alley. So I'm very happy that I didn't buy the Dior blush sticks or even the Charlotte Tilbury, because I'm a lot more interested in the soft filter blushes from Dior. It seems like what's trending are these blush sticks, which is so interesting to me because I don't think they're innovative or new or cool in any way. It's interesting to see Dior, now Charlotte Tilbury, launching these, and I wonder what brand is next. As for the Elle LYS finishing powder. I'm not a finishing powder person. I feel like it's an extra step that, you know, does help a little bit but doesn't do too much. I'm just really happy that there is someone out there trying to do better than Hourglass, coming out with shades that are more inclusive to deeper skin tones and at a better price. So if these are just as good as Hourglass, then I feel like LYS is winning in this category. So if you are a brand out there and you're looking to find a product that is filling a missing piece in the market, I do think trying to dupe Hourglass and creating more inclusive shades will sell very well. As for the Summer Fridays Butter Blush Balms, I think that's such a cute name. I think this is totally on brand for Summer Fridays and I'm not mad about it. I think the only critique that I have is that the shade range is boring, bland, and giving nothing. I don't know why we keep coming out with the same shades over and over again. I feel like it would be so cool to have a blush range of all like pinky neutral nudes, because we are getting to that point where blush blindness is a thing and we're trying to counteract that blush blindness. So to get more muted, pinky, peachy, nude tones, I feel like would be a major hit, especially for a brand like Summer Fridays who tends to market towards the clean girl, no makeup audience. It seems like by the comments, people are tired of the orange, the vibrant, the purple, the pink, the very saturated blush colors, and I'm one of those people. Okay, as much as I love it, we have all of those colors. If you want to convince me to buy more colors, it has to be something that I've never seen before. On top of that, I'm an oily skin girl, and any type of blush balm, anything with the word balm in it for my cheeks, I am checked out because I know that's not going to work for me. Speaking of glow, if you are a glowy person and you're willing to splurge, YSL is launching their All Hours Glow Foundation. So they're taking their OG, more natural satin matte, I don't really know, and turning it into a glowier product. It claims to be lightweight, hydrating, and have a radiant finish while also being oil controlling. Never have I ever tried a luminous, glowy blush that also controlled my oils. It's just not a thing. It doesn't work that way, and I'm not sure why they're marketing it that way. It currently doesn't have a price on Trendmood, but I'm guessing it's gonna be around like $62, like the OG version. I will say, as much as I'm willing to pay more money for a foundation or complexion product, $62 or just $50 crosses a line for me, especially for a product that doesn't fully align with my preferences. And in case you forgot about Benefit, they still exist, by the way. This is their new launch called the POREfessional Foundation, which is meant to smooth skin, blur pores, and provide a medium buildable coverage and natural matte finish. Apparently, it's also 24-hour long wear, waterproof, and transfer proof. And unlike their early launches, this will be available in 40 shades. Yeah, they finally, I think, might have gotten it right, but let's just hope they have some olive shades as well. And just because brands come out with 40 shades, it doesn't necessarily mean they're 40 quality shades. So we're just gonna have to wait for the reviews and see if it's actually a quality shade range. There are some people on the Trendmood comments that does seem to be excited about this launch. Someone said, "Yay, matte foundations are making a comeback. Can we add a few olive, cool, neutral, and warm shades? Thank you." Cute shade range. Who remembers when they only had 12 shades? Dead face. Glad to see they've learned from their mistakes. But there are some people that aren't fully convinced yet and are still very skeptical about this new launch. Someone said, no, because why is there 20 shades of the same shade that could have easily been fit into 10, but there's no real pale or real deep ones? Like, how actually hard is it to put more pigment into your product? The darkest shade isn't dark enough. They should at least add another 2 or 3 dark shades. Y'all still missed the mark, in my opinion, on the shade range. Sincerely, an Ulta employee who has already received gratis from Benefit. Honestly, if there's anything that I learned recently, it's to not trust the online pictures of products. It is going to be something I see in person to judge for myself because I'm just not sure. Sometimes in the pictures it looks like a great shade range, and then in person it's like all shades of yellow and orange. And some people are complaining about not having enough light shades and not having enough deep shades, but it could just be that the pictures are awful. If this person truly works at Ulta, then maybe the skepticism is right, but it's not something that I'm going to blindly buy online because you just never know. Now, if you love the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation, they are creating the concealer, which I swear has already launched. I don't know why it's feeling like deja vu. So this product claims to give you high coverage but feel lightweight with a natural finish. It also claims to be waterproof, smudge-proof, and sweat-proof, providing a comfortable feeling that lasts for hours in 32 different shades. Mercier is also launching their Real Flawless Smooth Finish Pressed Foundation for $52. It claims to be a primer-infused powder foundation with a hydrating, weightless formula that hydrates the skin, we already said that, while simultaneously controlling shine for flawless long wear without creasing, settling, or streaking in 20 shades. See, this is where brands just make me so suspicious with their marketing. I just cannot trust the marketing. I can't do it. They want to be everything all at once instead of being like, this is for oily skin. I feel like at this point, good marketing is actually educating and informing the person on how to use the product in the best way, because when I think about using Bare Minerals, which is a powder foundation, that was the first foundation I ever wore. I remember watching on DVD, this makes me feel very old, on DVD, a tutorial on how to use the Bare Minerals powder foundation properly to get it to work for you. And it had this whole step-by-step process where you tap the product in the cap, you swirl your brush in, and then you swirl it all over your face, and it gives you just good coverage. It also had SPF in it, and it was one of my all-time favorite products, and the only reason why I ever wore foundation because it was super lightweight. But if it wasn't for that video, I don't think I would like the product. But when we are reading these marketing claims where they say that it's hydrating, it's weightless, it also controls your shine, it doesn't have creasing or settling, that's a lot of claims. Especially powder foundations are slightly drying on the skin. Now, are some less drying than others? Yes. But also it says no creasing, settling, or streaking. It can streak depending on how you apply it. A lot of powder foundations, if you apply it downward, it's going to streak. So these claims are kind of something interesting. It also says it's humidity transfer and waterproof. I feel like I have to buy this now just to prove whether they're right or wrong, just to see if they're lying. If I put this powder foundation on and I go in the shower, is it gonna stay on? Because I doubt it. Maybe humidity transfer proof, sure. Waterproof? I feel like they're over-promising, but there's always that very slim chance I'm wrong. So I'm probably gonna buy this for the sake of science. I really don't know why I was very heated about that one. I think it's just because lately I've noticed a lot of the controversy on products. It's not controversy about the product itself, especially because a lot of the commentary on it is people like me who haven't tried the product. But the main issue is just bad marketing. If you have bad photos, a bad description, or a description that kind of lies and over exaggerates, obviously when people buy the product and it's not what it looks like online, it's going to be disappointing, and that causes controversy. So at this point, I don't think the issue is not launching products that are exciting or fun or fresh or whatever. I think the biggest thing is maybe changing the way we market products, changing the way we talk about products. All right, so just to wrap up my hot take and opinions on some of the complexion products. YSL, too expensive, not gonna buy it. It's a glowy product, could care less. I have bought so many foundations at this point, it's not on my priority list. It's not something that I'm like, yes, I need to review this right now. As for the Benefit Liquid Foundation, this does scream an Elle product. It's matte. It's giving cloud skin. It has a large shade range, so there's a chance that if it's a quality shade range, it would be a great recommendation. Benefit also doesn't seem to be known for their like foundations or complexion products. They have had complexion products in the past, but they weren't that great. So just based off of the amount of shade options, I feel like they might have taken their time with this launch to make it a hit compared to their previous launches. I'm willing to entertain the idea and check it out in person. And as for the Makeup Forever concealer, I don't care. I don't think it's a bad launch. I don't think it's a great launch. I just have no feelings toward it. So for me, it's going to be a skip unless it is claiming to do something groundbreaking. And there are definitely more launches that I have yet to include in this video. Shockingly, this has been quite a busy summer for new launches, so I might do another follow-up video next week with all of the launches that I missed. Let me know if you're gonna add any of these to your cart, if you're gonna delete them from your cart. I always want to hear your thoughts and opinions, but I love you all so much. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!